or we can identify the any disease outbreak, particularly for example wilt cases also, and fusarium complex diseases, then like wheat blast also. So we can go for the gene sequence based, we can identify the any new disease outbreaks through MLST approach. As I discussed that the MLST is simpler, faster, less expensive as compared to whole genome sequencing, because it is very cheaper actually. What is the principle actually? The methodology is very simple actually. First we decide the genes, which genes we have to take for PCR amplification. Any set of housekeeping genes you can take, also you can take effector genes also. Which genes you are targeting first for the PCR amplification. Then go for, after PCR amplification, go for the sequencing of those genes. As many as you can take the isolate also, like more than 30, 40. If you are taking 6, 7 genes, you can take 10 to 15 or 20 isolates also. You can take 100 isolates also you can take in a single run. Further, we can make the phylogeny based on the gene sequences. That is a simple concept for MLST. So in this case, we tried in Carnal-Bund. What is Carnal-Bund actually? You know that what is Carnal-Bund actually. Carnal-Bund is important actually. It is a quarantine disease. It affects the export import of wheat crop, wheat in India. Also, it was reported in the 7 countries also till now, and mainly confined in northwestern plain zone of India, from Punjab, Haryana, UP, some part of Rajasthan. But till now, it is not reported in the South India. And it is a seed-borne and soil-borne disease. Seed-borne and soil-borne. And symptoms are very difficult actually to identify in the field conditions, because till maturity you can see the symptoms of Carnal-Bund. Before that you cannot see the symptoms. If you see here spike, this is the matured wheat crop. When you can see like that symptoms, Carnal-Bund is partial bund disease actually. Only endosperm is converted into teleospores, black powder. Then these are the teleospores actually, which survive in the soil. They can survive up to 4 to 5 years. That is a major source of inoculum actually, Carnal-Bund. A disease is sporadic in nature actually, not coming everywhere because of climatic conditions. When the rainfall and humidity is very high in January to February month, the spore will germinate in the soil and jump into the wheat spike, then cause the disease. Infected seed will not cause the disease. I will repeat here. Infected seed will not cause the disease because it is not a systemic disease. Loose smut is like a systemic disease, but it is not a systemic disease. So only source of inoculum is this teleospores, which are surviving in the soil actually. After that, we can grow in the media like PDA media. These white small dots are monosporal lines actually. These are haploid, you can say haploid MS line. These haploid MS and monospore lines will fuse and then cause the disease. Again, very typical here. These monospore, like 2 types of sporia will form. One is filiform, one is allantoid sporia. So only filiform will not cause the disease, but only allantoid will cause the disease. So after fusing, it 2 allantoid sporia cause the disease actually. And this is the growth in media, potodextrose growth media also, and petipet growth and PDA media also. So that is a Carnal-Bund disease. And till now, the resistance sources are very limited actually because of this complex nature of pathogenesis mechanism of the Carnal-Bund, because of recombination of the 2 allantoid sporidia actually. Because if you are using same isolate every time for screening of germplasm, they give different type of reaction. Why? Because of recombination. To any random sporia are fusing actually. So we will not say that this year is 10%, next year it will be 40%. So the compatible sporia will cause the disease actually. So in this case, we have collected 20 isolates from different places like UP, Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, then Uttarakhand, then Haryana, like different places we have collected 20 isolates. We isolated these cultures. Then for this MLST scheme we have targeted 7 genes: phosphoglyceride kinase, beta tubulin, actin, then GAPDH, then histone, then translation initiation factor, then serine, threonine, protein kinase. These are housekeeping genes actually here. These are conserved in all together in all the fungus. So we targeted those only conserved gene sequences for MLST analysis. So further we have isolated the DNA of the all 20 isolates by CTAB method. Do you know that CTAB method? It is very simple method to isolate the DNA. First grow in the PDP broth media, then filter out the mycelium, then go the procedure of the CTAB method. After DNA isolation, you can quantify the DNA concentration, then go for the PCR amplification. So PCR amplification, we have done all 7 genes. These are all amplified, and as per desired band size. Further, we have after that this PCR, we sequenced those genes, and the sequence were analyzed actually for phylogeny. So here, very interesting information we could get here. You see, all 20 isolates are different places, also different regions also, but the KB11 isolate showing highest similar to reference sequence. What we did here, because we pooled the sequence of each isolates. All 20 sequences are pooled in a single cluster. So like that we did the phylogeny. The reference is what we taken from the whole genome sequence, all the genes. So this is the highest similar to reference sequence. Apart from different clusters were formed. But if you see different isolate locations, see from Delhi like that, Haryana, Karnal, Kurukshetra like that. But if for example, 4 isolates from Karnal, they are not grouped in a single cluster. Why? Because of recombination. So it is not clearly in the same group actually. It is showed that it is highly genetically variable, the Tilletia indica fungus. Apart from KB5 and KB18 were most diverse. Sorry, 7 and 18 are most diverse actually. So like that, it showed the genetic diversity of the pathogen actually. Then, yes, tell me. Yes.
Here you have collected sample from 20 different locations.
Yes.
And you have targeted 7 different genes.
7 different genes. Yes.
So these 7 different genes pertain in all 20 isolates that you have collected.
These all are present. These are conserved genes actually. These are housekeeping genes.
So their expression will be similar in all the isolates or they are different.
Expression means the amplification? No, based on PCR reaction we have just only. Not go for real time we have not done, but only based on PCR amplification. Thus all are amplified as per desired band size. Band size, this, like that. Desired band size 1100, 960, like that we have got actually. So we have not done the real time PCR assay for how much expression is there. Even though earlier before real time PCR we can check the size of band for expression, whether it is thick band, highly expressed, is low small band, then you can see less expression was observed. So all this 140 gene sequences, as I told, has submitted in the NCBI database, and we have got this accession numbers. Further, one important thing we have also analyzed here, SNP analysis. How we did? Based on reference gene sequences, we compared our sequence to in reference gene sequence. So here we got SNPs in each gene. If you see here, highest number of SNPs were identified KB18. This isolate, like for actin-related protein, 40 SNPs, like 27 elongation factor, then histone, very less, then PGK, phosphoglyceride kinase, is 35, like that 105, and here is 18, 165. Altogether, in 7 genes, this much of SNPs were observed actually. Although here is one important thing is our genome is not complete genome sequence, but the draft genome sequence. But we have compared to our genome sequence of Carnarvon pathogen. So out of this studies, the highest similarity with the reference sequence also observed, and how much variation among the isolate also, and SNP is also identified in the 20 isolates. So if this study, this very briefly, the study revealed that the pathogen has highly genetically diverse, or because maybe due to recombination, or we need to further you can say pathotypes, you can say not races, these are pathotypes which different locations which can be used for screening of germplasm. Because for example some diverse pathotypes or some are more sporadic, you can say higher number SNPs, the chances of causing disease more actually as compared to those are producing less SNPs, maybe due to recombination pattern. So this is a small concept of MLST. Any question you can ask now. Understand?
Is the only way by which several number of SNP appeared in
Huh.
all 20 isolates?
Mm-hmm.
Is due to only recombination itself, or there are other?
Maybe other factor also, maybe. But I'm hypothesize that maybe due to recombination or some transposable elements or other elements also there. But based on that, I thought maybe possible due to the recombination or elongation. Transposable elements. Because at present till now, the 7 whole genome, 7 Teliaceae indica genome has been sequenced. So I saw there that the genome size is also variable. Like for example, 40 MB, like 37 MB, like 20 MB, like that. They use different isolates also, more 5 from India, 1 from Pakistan, 1 from Canada. But the genome size is variable. So I published one paper of in genome sequencing. So I draw the conclusion that maybe the transposable elements are main responsible factor for the genome size variable. So we need to resequence other pathogens, or we can go for the complete genome sequence. Until unless we need fund also, then we can complete the whole genome sequence.
KB18 was the highest diversified among all the.
Yes.
On the highest number of SNPs.
Yes, yes.
But does it also mean that KB18 is highest pathogenicity?
Pathogen, we have checked actually. So we are doing also, these are, this pathogen also highly pathogenic actually also.
As compared to others?
Yes. Yes, important thing, very important question, that any genetic diversity, if you are doing that, you need to you compare your data to pathogenic data also, always. Because until unless we can say these are SNPs, these are having role in pathogenic that much or not. You need to compare through pathogenic nature of the isolate actually.
So what's the reason for taking only the housekeeping?
These are conserved genes in all fungus, first thing, or you can take also effector genes also. But nowadays, this is an old study actually, but nowadays you can target effector genes. Yeah, virulence genes, yeah, pathogen related genes in particular fungus. So further we will target those which are through genome sequencing we identified some virulence genes, through real time also we identified. So further we can take those genes also for the MLST analysis. Concept is clear? Very simple concept.
One little doubt, sir. Sir, as you are saying that Carnarvon is seed and soil borne
Yes.
disease, but in the previous slides we have shown that seed never cause infections.
Yes.
So how can we say that this pathogen is seed-borne disease?
Yes. Seed-borne is the disease is only coming in the seed only. The seed is endosperm is converted into the teleospores. But while you can say sending the seed from one place to another place, it will go into the soil. Understand my point? The teliospores are adhering the seed or seed coat also, so that will move from one place to another place, but and further it will go into soil. Through soil it will cause the disease like that.
Only for transferring the pathogen.
Transferring the pathogen. Seed is important. Any question? No? Then further, one important study we conducted here. As you know that the kernel belt is floret infecting fungus and boot stage of wheat. You do know boot stage? Few of you know, I think. Because boot stage is important for the disease causing the kernel belt of wheat. In this case, we targeted the host factor of two varieties actually here. One is the SD29 and WS542. We compare whether the host factor having role in the disease development or not. In this case, we extracted the plant extract from both the varieties. Then we added in the media, potato dextrose agar media. After adding in media, we compared the mycelial growth of fungus actually. So you can see here, SS means susceptible host and RH means resistant host. So different time interval we observed the mycelial growth. The highest growth was recorded in susceptible WS54 factor compared to resistant host factor SD29. Like that you can say. And it is important, it is very slow growing fungus. So it proved that the host factor is having role in the, you can say, enhancing the fungus growth actually. Through the experiment we have observed that. Further we checked some virulence related genes in Tillecia indica. So what we did here, the growth of Tillecia indica potato dextrose agar media, then further we transfer the host factor and supplement minimal media. Minimal media composition is there. So we added the fungus in the minimal media, and different time point we have collected the samples, and then RNA was isolated from the media. Then we went for cDNA preparation and then real-time PCR. Boot stage. Before opening the spike actually. That stage we have took and extracted through liquid. Methodology there actually. How to extract the plant extract. Booting stage. Because the disease is only coming in the boot stage. Others, it will not cause the leaf, other factors are not involved. Although the disease, how it is coming as per earlier literature, the spore jump to leaf first, then leaf to the sporia, then enter through ovary in the spike actually, through ovary. That is a route described actually. So in some literature I have seen that maybe role of the host factor in the virulence also, from what is the mechanism behind that. So in this case what we did here, these are some genes which are virulence related genes which are already described in the Astelagomedis smetom maize. Actually it is a model fungus. The genome has totally characterized, gene also totally characterized. So I thought we should also think that these genes should be present in the Tillecia indica, because Astelagomedis and Tillecia indica are the same phylum actually, Basidiomycetes. So Basidiomycete two groups, smut and bunt fungus. So the most of genes which are comparing to Astelagomedis actually. So few genes like that, you can say MAP kinase, PMK, these are row functions of different genes, chitinase, then HOG1 gene also. These are different mating type, aprosuria development, protein folding, mating, cell separation, virulence, and sexual development. These are functions of the different genes already characterized in Astelagomedis. So what we thought that the genes should be in the, we compared in our genome also, BLAST, and checked these genes are present in our genome also. Further, the primers were designed for all the genes, and we have done the real-time PCR, qPCR assay. So very interestingly, we got the results here. You can see the chitin synthase and chitinase SSB70 genes highly upregulated, except H2 is susceptible WS542 at 3 and 4 days incubation of Tillecia indica. Understand? The high expression was observed in susceptible host as compared to resistant host factor actually. Clear? Disease, yes. virulence related genes. So others also MAP kinase genes, HOG1, KSS, KPP2, PMK genes are highly upregulated in the susceptibility host factor. But this study is clear cut indicating that the genes are highly upregulation in the susceptibility host factor. It means it will cause the disease, high disease actually, as compared to resistant host. It proved that the genes having role in the virulence actually. These genes having role in the virulence of the disease actually. So out of this genes, we have targeted one gene actually for function analysis actually. This is a TI. Yes.
It's shown that the chitinase was upregulated.
Yes. Yes.
Sir,
First,
chitinase was upregulated.
yeah, susceptible genotype.
And the fungus is made up of chitin. Sir, how come chitinase is increased? It will dissolve the fungal cell wall. And how come the infection still increased in susceptible host?
Which susceptible, na?
Yes, sir.
This is the susceptible host factor. This is the this is a resistant host factor, na? Black is. Again, you repeat your questions now.
Sir, it was given that in susceptible host,
Mm-hmm.
the chitinase activity was increased.
Increased, yes.
However, the chitinase increase may lead to the decrease in the fungal infection because it decreases the fungal cell wall. Dissolve the fungal cell wall.
Mm-hmm.
Act on chitin.
Chitin,
But however, it was opposite in susceptible host. Instead of decreasing the infection, it was increased.
The infection will increase, na? The susceptible host factor, the virulence gene, chitinase genes are actually role in the virulence also. Chitinase genes having role in the virulence also, na? While infecting, they are increasing, na? The expression of that gene is increasing actually. That's why it is it's causing more upregulation in the susceptible host factor as compared to resistant host factor.
Actually, like fungal cell are made of chitin.
Mm-hmm.
So chitin is one of the like upregulation of all three are there in one of the chitin.
Okay, we will discuss later that question. Okay. Okay. So further out of the genes, we have targeted one of TI-HOG1 gene actually. That gene has reported that it has a role in the stress also and virulence also in Asclepiades. So this gene we have cloned in Tillecia indica, and further we have checked this salt inducible activity also based on this was amplified at 1100-05 base pair amplicon in presence of 1 molar sodium chloride and cloned in PGT cloning vector and then subcloned expression vector, this and sequence were analyzed. Sorry. This slide I will tell later. Further, after cloning of the genes, the sequence was compared. So we have checked the protein exhibition highest amino acid similarity to the homologous protein sequence Tillecia caries. It is similar to that group Asclepiades and Puccinia graminis from the TTC. Then further, this is the complementary assay actually. We have tried to that there is a role function in the in presence of salt actually. So in this case, we have this TI-HOG1 gene mutant was generated, and we checked the mutant efficacy under the different salt constant and osmo regulation actually here. So stress tolerant 1 molar sodium chloride, potassium chloride, cesium chloride, and magnesium chloride like that. So different sensitivity was observed in the presence of salt also, and the osmosis tolerance also, some sorbitol and sucrose was also used. So it showed that the gene has role in the stress also and osmoregulation also. It proved that the gene has role in the stress conditions. Earlier also I told that the gene also having role in virulence also. So that study functionally proved that the TI-HOG1 gene was functionally proved that the gene role in the virulence also and stress condition also. That is role of the TI-HOG1 gene. So apart one of for actually this one of small study we also conducted that SR markers actually we have identified through whole genome sequence of Tillotson indica, and we have amplified in the 20 isolates of Tillotson indica, and number of alleles we have observed actually amplified in the Tillotson indica isolates, like you can see 40 markers we have chosen because in whole genome we got trinucleotide are maximum. So based on trinucleotide, we have top 40 markers we have selected, run the PCR, and we checked the allelic variation we observed like 6, 2 like that, and also this polymorphic information content also we arranged 0.20 to 0.81, average is 0.51. So the genomics or genome sequencing, Dr. Rasima Agrawal will discuss later on. Functional genome sequencing, functional analysis of part, she will discuss later on. But even though we published the papers on the kernel bund, this whole genome sequencing of kernel bund of pathogen, response of pathogen-related genes, Tillotson indica, then functional analysis of TIHOG1 gene, then we have also developed diagnostic marker for real-time PCR based marker for Tillotson indica. So this is the small presentation. I would like to thank director, joint directors of IRI, then Dr. Rasima Agrawal, my mentor and head on dean and joint director of education, and my technical staff, our lab, research fellows, lab number 12. So thank you one and all. Now you can ask questions. Kernel bund, any question you can ask now. No question? The methodology already described, the MLST is in your manual chapter. You can read that. You can do the. There are other markers also, genetic variability. So many markers are available, like starting from RAPD to SSRs, like RFLP, so many markers. Still, we have a lot of scope to characterize the pathogens also. Through genome sequencing nowadays is coming very good way that you can choose the marker through genome also, and compare also, you can compare the genomes also if because of you can say the genomes are draft genomes are there in the NCBI database. If you look to, if you go through the NCBI database, you check the genome sequence, how much variation is the genome sequence, and why, because of why that much of variation in the fungal pathogens actually. If you see in rust races, genome also are different, like in kernel bund Tillotson, by bipolar rust also. So the genome is variable due to many factors are there. What are the mechanisms there? That's the genome, and genome size is variable. So it's very difficult to identify virulence genes in the whole genome sequence because of we got large number of virulence genes, but how to target single or two genes are governed virulence actually. How to identify? That's a challenge because so many genes are involved in virulence. But if we should target the host site target, any particular gene is corresponding in the host actually. So it's very difficult to identify which particular gene is governed in particular host to overcome the disease actually. That's the challenge actually. But in rust is very model fungus, there you can identify many genes, R genes, but for example hemibiotic fungus or necrotroph pathogens, very difficult to identify R genes, even though still in kernel bund there is no R genes are reported till now. Because of the mechanism of pathogen, you can say unique pathogen mechanism involved here, so till now no R genes are reported in kernel bund of it. So these are the challenges on kernel bund of disease management. Although we can manage through fungicide, propiconazole 0.2%, it is very effective. Before heading stage you can spray, before opening the wheat spike, so it can control actually Carnarvon. Carnarvon is having importance only mainly in the export oriented actually, although sometimes it affect the quality and quantity also in market value also, but majorly affect the export actually, because now we are producing 98 or 102 million ton wheat production, but while exporting there is a question actually. That's the thing actually, the Carnarvon of wheat. Because that's wheat crop, wheat crop. In northwestern plain zone, the wheat crop was growing from November to March actually, April you can say. Then most favorable time is January to February actually. High rainfall during February month or end of January, rainfall and high humidity, two conditions. So the rainfall and high humidity, the spore will germinate in the soil. South. So the spore will germinate and jump into the leaf into spike actually. The south it is not yet reported actually till now in south. Mainly in Punjab. Initially it was discovered in Karnal 1931. It is Indian originated disease you can say. In 1930 it was discovered by Mitra from Karnal actually. So later on it was moved through seed only. While sending the seed from Karnal to other places, only the way that it is moved actually, because domestic quarantine are not that much effective in India. So if you are checking the seed every stage, then you can monitor the disease movement actually. Otherwise it is spread actually different UP, Rajasthan, some parts also it's reported there also, Carnarvon of wheat. Yes, early sowing variety are effective actually. Yes. Zero tillage also. Because if we manage the spores on the soil, then disease will not come. The tillage spores in the soil, if we manage, then we can control the disease actually. Even though through transcriptome also we can target. For example, like dormant and germinating tillage spore, for example. So if we target some germination related genes, or so if we can find the germination related genes in the tillage spore, so we can synthesize a drug anti-spirulent. So if we can design any drug, so if we can apply in the soil, the spore will not germinate. The anti-spirulent strategy can be thought that to manage the Carnarvon disease. Otherwise, resistant sources are very difficult to identify because of nature of pathogen, but the fungicides are effective for that Carnarvon disease management.
Is there, sir, any biocontrol?
There are reports are there. Trichoderma is effective, but thing is it's a feasibility of application of biocontrol. See how to spray in booting stage or pre-heading stage you can spray. But if fungus enter in the spike, then the trichoderma will not enter in the spike actually. So that feasibility of biocontrol application, that's a problem actually. Because the tillage spores are in soil, they are you can say if you apply trichoderma also in soil, it will not inhibit the growth of the tillage spore actually. Because after rainfall in February month, the spore will jump actually. So trichoderma will not jump. So it will not reduce the disease management. Although in vitro studies are there, they are effective actually. Like trichoderma, chaetomium, these are effective against the Carnarvon of wheat. Biocontrol are effective. Any questions? No question? Okay, thank you. इसको close करता हूँ. मैं इसको close करता हूँ. 5-minute break, I will come back. Na? Just a minute. मैं दूसरा डिस्कस करता हूँ तुझसे ना 5-10 मिनट के बाद में आता हूँ, ठीक।
अच्छा वो मेरे सर एक सेकंड कर देना मेरे पे कॉल